In this video, we will try to solve some of the most important questions and MCQs with explanation that are asked in various competitive exams on economics paper. So watch this video up to end and you will definitely benefit from this video. The question is, if a regression line is y on x and x on y are given as y minus 0.8, x is equal to 0.2 and x minus 0.2, y is equal to 0.6 respectively, then the coefficient of correlation will be, the options are 0.4, 0.2, 0.8 and 1.0. So we will see what is the correct option. First of all, we will take this very equation. Okay, now what will we do? We will transpose this 0.x on RHS, so the equation will become y is equal to 0.8 x plus 0.2. okay, now slope of this equation is denoted by byx, that is y on x. The slope is given by this is the slope of this equation, that is 0.8. okay, 0.8 is the slope of this very equation. As we know, the slope formula is y is equal to mx plus c, where this c is the intercept, m is the slope, and y is, this is the equation of y on x. okay, so we got here byx is equal to 0.8. Similarly, we take this very equation, that is x minus 0.2y is equal to 0.6. so since this is on x on y, so we will solve it for x. So this will become x is equal to, we transpose this on RHS, so this becomes 0.2 y plus 0.6. okay, now slope of this equation is simply, here we can see this would be the slope of this very equation. So I can write it as bxy is equal to, here this is the slope, so I will write here 0.2. okay, so we got these two values, we got the slope of the equations, the slope of the regression lines. Now I will rub something here, I will rub this part. The formula for calculating the correlation coefficient is simply, that is correlation coefficient is the square or square root of the product of the slope of the regression lines. That is, correlation coefficient is simply the root of the product of the slope of the regression lines. We have byx times bxy. okay, we just insert the values here. So in place of this byx, we have 0.8 times, here we have 0.2. When solving, this comes out to be 0.16, or we can write it as 0.4. okay, so we can easily see that the correlation coefficient here is simply 0.4. that means the correct option to this question is 0.4. Question is, in the diagram, suppose tax is imposed that increases the price that buyers pay from P1 to P2, that is this. The tax causes the price sellers receive to fall from P1 to P3. okay, as a result, producer surplus will, first option is fall by area E, second option is fall by area E plus F, third option is fall by area E plus D, and last option is fall by area D plus A. So we will see what is the correct option. First of all, as we know, producer surplus is the area which is above the supply curve and below the equilibrium price. So this very red triangle is the producer surplus before the imposition of tax. That is, producer surplus is D plus E plus F. okay, now After the imposition of tax, that is the this very rectangle is the tax revenue. That is this very portion denotes the tax revenue, and these two yellow triangles denote the deadweight loss caused by that imposition of tax. Now after the imposition of tax, we can see the producer surplus is only this very triangle, that is triangle F. After the imposition of this tax, that producer surplus is only this triangle, that is triangle F. Okay. Now the question says a producer surplus will. Now we can see the producer surplus will fall by the area E plus D, because first the producer surplus was DEF. After the imposition of the tax, the producer surplus is only F, so fall in the producer surplus is D plus E. So I can show it here. This is the fall in the producer surplus after the imposition of tax, because after the imposition of tax, producer surplus is only this very triangle, that is F. Next question is, Pareto improvement means it is possible to improve someone without hurting someone else. B option is, it is not possible to improve someone without hurting someone else. C option is, it is possible to improve someone by compensating the loss of losers. Sorry, it is impossible to improve someone by compensating the loss of losers. Now, Pareto improvement means it is possible to improve someone without hurting someone else. That is, I will give you an example. Let us say we have person A and B. They have the same utility. They get same utility, that is X and X. After the reallocation, let us say A gets X plus 1 and B gets X. So there is no change in the utility of X, but the utility of A has increased from X plus 1. So this very allocation could be said it is an Pareto improvement. Okay. On the other hand, there is another term, that is Pareto efficient. If this is the case, if original allocation was X and X for both, and if after the reallocation A gets X plus 1 but B gets X minus 1, so there is increase in the utility of A with decrease in the utility of B, then this very allocation is called Pareto efficient. That is, it is not possible to improve someone without hurting someone else. So the correct option is, because the question is asking about the Pareto improvement, so it is possible to improve someone without hurting the someone else. At this very scenario, the option B is for the Pareto efficient. That is, we can improve someone by we cannot improve someone without affecting the someone else. Okay. Next question is, a monopolist supply curve is given by, that is its A option is it is marginal cost curve, B option is its average variable cost curve, C option is its average total cost curve, and D option is none of these. Now, as we know that monopolist is the price taker. Okay, and we know a supply curve tells us the quantity that firms choose to supply at any given price. So at any given price, what quantity the suppliers choose to supply, that is shown by the supply curve. But since the monopolist is the price maker, it does not take into account the price, because the price is set by the monopolist. So there is no supply curve in case of monopolist. Okay, the correct option is none of these. In case of monopolist or in case of monopoly, there is not any unique supply curve. Why? Because it is a price maker, not a price taker. Coming to next question, the maximum of the function occurs where the first option is the first derivative is equal to 0 and second derivative is positive. B option is first derivative is 0, second derivative is 0. Third option is first derivative is 0, second derivative is negative, and D option is first derivative is positive and second derivative is negative. So we will see. Okay, let us draw a graph. Let us say this is our function. Here we can see maximum is this point. The maximum of a function will occur where the first derivative is 0, that is the slope of the function is 0. So first derivative should be 0. Okay, and after that, when reaching the maximum, the second derivative should be negative. Here we can see the slope is negative after reaching the maximum. That means first derivative is 0, that is first slope should be equal to 0 at maximum, and the second derivative should be negative. Here we can see this is from this very point, then slope is negative. So the correct option in this case is option C is correct, that is first derivative is 0 and second derivative is negative in case of maximum. In case of minimum, it could have been like this: first derivative in any case should be equal to 0 and second derivative would be positive, because here after reaching the minimum the slope should get increasing. So but here it is about the maximum, so this very option, that is C option, is correct, that slope should be first 0, after that the second derivative should be negative. Next question is, a tax system is said to be regressive. Options are: A option is marginal tax rate is decreasing in income, B option is marginal tax rate is increasing in income, C option is average tax is decreasing in income, and D option is average tax rate is increasing in income. Okay, first of all, we know that the regressive taxation means, that is, in regressive taxation, tax rate decreases as the taxable income increases or income increases. So when the income increases, tax rate will decrease. So in that case, the average tax rate is decreasing in the income. So that is average tax will decrease as the income will increase in case of regressive taxation. Okay, so correct option is C. Next question is, efficient allocation of public goods is ensured by, first option is marginal rate of transformation equals sum of the marginal rate of substitution for all consumers rather. Marginal rate of substitution equals sum of marginal rate of transformation for all goods. C option is sum of marginal rate of transformation of all goods is equal to sum of marginal rate of substitution of all consumers, or D is none of these. Now efficient allocation in public goods means that is the marginal benefit should be equal to marginal cost. Okay, efficiency in allocation of the public goods is ensured where marginal benefit is equal to marginal cost. I don't think any option is correct here, so I will go for D option, because efficient allocation in public goods, I repeat, is ensured when the marginal benefit is equal to marginal cost, that is marginal benefit is equal to marginal cost, and I can't see any option is relatively closer to this very definition, so I will go for none of these. Next question is, an economy suffering from a recession, what will have is, first option is prices are high, its GDP is weakening, its currency is weakening, its GDP is less than the trend value, and option D is all of these. Now in case of a recession, if we can plot, if this is the trend GDP, and so in case of recession, GDP is always less than this very option is recession and depression portion. So if this is trend, in case of recession, GDP is less than trend value, it is correct. Prices are high, no, prices are very low in case of recession. Its currency is weakening, in recession, no, currency is getting stronger. Okay, so the correct option is only the C option, that is GDP is less than the trend value in case of recession. Next question is definition of appreciation or depreciation of currency depends on. First option is a US and UK tradition of defining exchange rate. B option is value of exports and imports. C, how currency is doing in international market. Or D option is share of exports and imports in GDP. So the correct option is in this case value of, it is exports and imports. So what US or UK define the exchange rate will not have any effect on the appreciation or depreciation. So share of exports and imports in GDP, this will not also define the appreciation or depreciation of the currency. I guess only option that is true or correct is the B option, that is a value of exports and imports. Next question is autocorrelation exists when. First option is given as there are more than one independent variable. B option is independent variables are correlated. C option is errors are related or correlated. D option is dependent and independent variables are correlated. First of all, this autocorrelation is also called serial correlation. So serial correlation or autocorrelation exists when the error terms are correlated. When the error terms are correlated. So the correct option is option C. There are more than one independent variables. So this is the case of multicollinearity. Okay. So correct option in this case is C. That is in case of autocorrelation, errors are related or correlated. Which of the following is measure of poverty? First is head count ratio. Second is poverty gap. C is Gini coefficient, and D option is HDI. First of all, HDI it measures human development index. Gini coefficient it measures inequality. Poverty gap index measures the poverty, but since it is only poverty gap, so we will go for head count ratio. Head count ratio measures the poverty. Next question is a good which is non-rivalous and excludable in consumption is called pure public good, private good, club good, or common resource. The correct option is the club good. Club goods are those goods which are non-rivalous and excludable. Like we have the example of a cable TV. That is, we have cable TV. Okay, cable TV requires some monthly fees, but is non-rival. After we pay the monthly fees, it becomes non-rival after the payment. Okay, so the correct option is club good. Next question is classical economists held the belief that money supply leads to inflation only. This view is known as, first option is full crowding out, B is classical dichotomy, C is none of this, D is none of the above. So full crowding out, as we have seen, full crowding out is the rise in the government spending drives out the private sector spending. So but the classical dichotomy tells us, or it says, that increase in the money supply affects only the nominal variables, that are the prices and wage rates, and have no effect on the real variables like employment or GDP or consumption. So increasing increasing the money supply will lead only to the inflation only, is because of the classical dichotomy. And I don't know whether full crowding out goes with this. I'm not sure about this option, so I will go for 1 2, that is both of these are correct. and I'm not sure how the full crowding out uh, uh, will lead to the inflation. So you can check it by yourself. Next question is, after imposition of quota and tariff, first option is same effects are created, B is different effects are created, C is some effects are same, some are different, there are no effects. First of all, the tariff is the tax on the importers, okay, and quota is nothing, it is the quantity limit. Quota restricts the quantity limit, but in case of tariff there is taxation on the importers. So tariff will not restrict the quantity, quota restricts the amount of quantity that can be imported. Okay, now after imposing quota or tariff, some some effects are same, some are different. That is, some effects will be same, that is consumption will be less. In both the cases consumption will be less, but some effects are different. That is, in case of tariff, government revenue will increase, there will be the generation of government revenue by imposing tariff, but there will be no generation of government revenue if quotas are imposed. Okay, so some effects will be same, that is the consumption will decrease, but other effects will be different. That is, in case of tariff, government revenue will increase or generation of government revenue takes place, but in case of quota, no government revenue generation takes place. Okay, next question is, if preferences are transitive, then more is preferred to less. B option is more is sometimes preferred to less. C option is the preference relationship among goods is transferable. D option is preferences are convex. Now, transitivity means if A is preferred to B and B is preferred to C, then this means A is indirectly preferred to C. Okay, so the correct option in this case is the preferences relationship among goods is transferable. Okay, we can transfer from A to B, B to C. This implies A is preferred to C. Next question is, if preferences are non-satiated, then more is always preferred to less. B option is less is preferred to more. C option is the preferences and indifference relationship among goods is transferable. D option is preferences are continuous. The correct option is, that is, more is always preferred to less, is the meaning of the non-satiation in the preference. Next question is, given the fact that supply of wheat is perfectly inelastic, how will a reduction in demand for wheat affect the total expenditure of those using it? First option is their expenditures on it will rise. Second option is their expenditures on it will fall. Third option is the effect on expenditures cannot be predicted. D option is the expenditures on it will remain same. So we will see, if the supply of the wheat is perfectly inelastic, that means we have the vertical supply schedule. Let us say this was the original demand. How will a reduction in demand for wheat affect the total expenditure? If this was the price, after the reduction in the demand, the price will go down. If price goes down, that means total expenditure will fall. So the correct option would be the option B. Okay, I hope I am making myself clear. Next question is, suppose the price elasticity of demand for a good is 0. Which of the following is true about it? First option is shift in supply curve will increase consumer expenditure on it. B option is shift in supply curve will decrease consumption expenditure on it. C option is shift in supply curve may decrease or increase consumption expenditure on it, or D is none of the above. So first we will see what is meant by the price elasticity of demand for good is equal to 0. That means our demand curve is vertical and this is the supply curve. So if demand curve is horizontal, this is the demand curve, this is supply curve. The shift in supply curve will increase the consumption expenditure on it. Here it doesn't say whether the shift is to the right or to the left. Similarly, shift in the supply curve will decrease consumer expenditure. Here also it is not clear whether the shift is right or left. Shift in supply curve may increase or decrease the expenditure. So the correct option is C option. So shift in supply curve may increase or decrease the consumption expenditure on it, depending upon whether the shift is towards the left or towards the right. Okay. Next question is, the longer the time available for response. Options are the lower is the cross price elasticity of demand. B option is higher is income elasticity of demand. C option is lower is own price elasticity of demand, and D option is the higher is the own price elasticity of demand. That is, when longer time is available for response, the higher is the own price elasticity of demand. That is, price elasticity of demand will be high when the longer time is available for the response. Next question is, the deadweight loss of a tax is larger if tax is imposed on a good with. A option is a relatively more elastic supply curve and more inelastic demand curve. B option is a relatively more elastic demand curve and more elastic supply curve. D option is supply and demand curves have same elasticity, and D option is a relatively more inelastic supply curve and a more inelastic demand curve. The correct option is B, that is a relatively more elastic demand curve and more elastic supply curve. That is, maximum deadweight loss is imposed when both demand and supply curves are relatively elastic. Okay, so we will get more deadweight loss in that case. Next question is, indifference curves are always positively sloped when both goods are normal. One good is normal, other is inferior. Both goods are inferior, or indifference curves cannot be positively sloped. The correct option, I guess, is B. If one good is normal, other is inferior. If by inferior it is meant that other good is bad, in that case we have the positively sloped indifference curve. Let us say on this axis we have the bad good and we have good on good commodity on this vertical axis. In this case, the indifference curves would be positively sloped. Okay, because consuming more of bad will give less satisfaction. That means we will go for more of the good product here. So if one good is bad, one good is normal, in that case we say indifference curves are positively sloped. Next question is, at consumer equilibrium, slope of budget line equals the slope of indifference curve. B is slope of budget line equals marginal rate of substitution. C is marginal utilities of the two goods is same. D option is both A and B. The correct option is both A and B, because when consumer is equilibrium, if this is budget curve, this is our indifference curve, this point consumer will be at equilibrium at this point, where slope of the budget line is equal to the slope of the indifference curve, and at this point also the marginal rate of substitution is equal to the ratio of the prices. So the correct option is B option, that is slope of the budget, both A and B, these two options are correct. Next question is, price consumption curve is equivalent to income consumption curve. B is income offer curve drawn in income commodity space. C option is price offer curve drawn in price commodity space. D option is price consumption curve drawn in income commodity space. I'm not sure about the options here, so I will go for the first option, that is income consumption curve is the correct option. Next question is competitive firm shut down in short run. Options are A is if its marginal cost is greater than price. B option is if its average cost is greater than price. C option is if its average variable cost is greater than price. Or D option is if its average cost is greater than marginal cost. In the short run, if we have this is the marginal revenue or this is the price, let us say this is our marginal cost. If this is our average variable cost, so this point is the shutdown point. Why? At this point we can see prices are greater than average variable cost. In short run, competitive firms shut down if prices are greater than if prices are less than average variable cost. Here the price is less than the average variable cost. In the long run, it is the price should be less than the average cost for shutdown in the long run. But in short run, the correct option is if average variable costs are greater than price, then competitive firm will shut down in the short run. Next question is if wage rate increases. Options are supply of labor supply increases and demand for leisure decreases. B option is labor supply increases and demand for leisure increases. C option is labor supply decreases and demand for leisure decreases. And D option is labor supply decreases and demand for leisure increases. The correct option in this question is first option, that is when increase in the wage rate. If wage rate increases, that means price of leisure will increase, that means demand for leisure will decrease. So the correct option is A option. Next question is substitution effect in consumer theory is, first option is positive if indifference curves are convex to the origin. B option is negative if indifference curves are concave to the origin. C option is negative if indifference curves are L-shaped, and D is none of these. I don't see any relevance between substitution effect and the concavity or convexity of the indifference curve or the L-shaped of the indifference curve. So I will go for D option. That is, no option is correct. I'm not sure about the options. With my limited knowledge, I am making this video. So if there are some mistakes in the options, I apologize. Next question is indirect utility function. A option is function of quantities. B is function of price and quantities. C is function of price and income. And D option is function of price, income, and quantities. The correct option in this case is indirect utility function is the function of price and income. That is indirect is the function of price and income, indirect utility function. Next question is rationality in economics means that A option is economic agents maximize his minimum gain. Okay. B option is economic agents minimize his cost. This is true also. C option is economic agents minimizes his maximum loss. That's also true. So all the options are true in this case. Next question is earnings from investment abroad are recorded in, first option is capital account. B option is unilateral transfer account. C is trade account. D is none of these. The correct option in this question is capital account. Investment and earnings from abroad are recorded in capital account. Next question is sign of income effect depends on if the good is normal or Griffin. B is if the good is normal or inferior. C is if the good is gross substitute or if the good is gross complement. So sign of income effect depends upon whether the good is normal or inferior. In case of normal good, income effect is positive. In case of inferior good, the income effect is negative. Since given good is also subtype of inferior, so the correct option is only B option. Next question is, which of the following is similar between nominal and real GDP? The question options are, both of them reflect overall purchasing power of the people. No, only real GDP reflects the purchasing power. Nominal does not reflect the purchasing power. Why? Because nominal is there is the inflation rate also incorporated in nominal GDP. So the board doesn't do the same thing. B option is both of them are calculated at base prices. No, nominal real GDP is calculated on base prices. So this is not correct. C option is both of them are calculated at current prices. No, only nominal GDP is calculated on current prices. D option is both of them are calculated at current quantities. This very option seems correct. Both are calculated at the current quantities is correct option. Okay. Because purchasing power is reflected by real GDP. A option. B option is both of them only real GDP is calculated on base prices and nominal GDP is calculated on current prices. So the correct option is only D. Both of them are calculated at current quantities. Next question is, the difference between GDP deflator and CPI, that is consumer price index, is the former does not include importers while later includes importers. Yes, GDP deflator doesn't include importers, but consumer price index will incorporate importers, the price of imported goods. B option is the former is calculated at current quantities while later on base quantities. Yes, that is also true. This GDP is calculated on the current quantities, while as this CPI is calculated on the base quantities. C option is the former includes all goods while later includes only consumer goods. That's also true. GDP deflator will incorporate all the goods, but consumer price index, as the name suggests, it only includes the consumer goods. So all the options are correct. That is, D option is correct. The effect of increase in government expenditure on GDP is, first option is equal to fall in the taxes by the same amount. Second option is greater than fall in taxes by the same amount. Third option is equal to rise in taxes by the same amount, or D, smaller than the fall in the tax by the same amount. First of all, this government expenditure, if there is increase in the government expenditure, there will be greater than fall in the taxes by the same amount. Why? Because the spending multiplier is always greater than tax multiplier. That means when government spends money, it directly purchases something. That means there will be full amount of change in the aggregate demand. On the other hand, the tax multiplier is when there is decrease in the tax rate. If there is decrease in tax rate, disposable income will increase, but the part of the disposable income will be used for savings and only one part will be used for the spending. That means the tax multiplier will be smaller than the spending multiplier. In this situation, when let us say we have the spending and tax multiplier, if spending is increased by 10%, then let us say aggregate demand increases by 8%. Okay. If tax multiplier, if there is cut in the tax, that is 10% decrease in tax rate will only increase the aggregate demand by, let us say, by 6%. Okay, why? Because the spending multiplier or increase in the government spending has multiplier effects on the consumption and spending and aggregate demand. Also, though this tax multiplier has also the magnifying effects on the aggregate demand, but its magnitude is always less than the government spending multiplier, or the formula for the spending multiplier, that is government spending multiplier, is always equal to 1 divided by 1 minus MPC, where MPC is the marginal propensity to consume, and tax multiplier is given by minus MPC divided by 1 minus MPC. That means government expenditure or spending multiplier will be always greater than the tax multiplier. Tax multiplier. So increase in the government spending will have greater than fall in taxes by the same amount. Okay. Coming to the next question. The next question is, classical economists said that monetary policy is fully effective. This is known as money neutrality, full crowding out, liquidity trap, or both A and B. Well, it's called the money neutrality. The classical economists propounded that or rather they believe that change in the money supply affects only nominal variables. That is, it only affects the nominal variables. Like the nominal variables are prices or wage rates, but there will be no impact on the real variables. The real variables are, we have the real variables like employment or real GDP or real consumption. So the classical economists believe that change in the money supply affects only the nominal variables, and there is no effect on the real variables. This is known as money neutrality. Okay, now this fully crowding out effect is another term. Liquidity trap is other term. We will see in the next MCQs. Coming to the next question. If MPC is equal to 0.8, then expenditure multiplier equals. So we know the expenditure multiplier, as we have seen, is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. Now the MPC is 0.8, so this is 1 divided by 1 minus 0.8. This is 1 divided by 0.2. This is equal to 10 divided by, because this is equal to 2 by 10, so this will become 10 divided by 2, which is equal to 5. So spending multiplier is 5. So option A is correct here. Coming to the next question. Which of the following would cause the aggregate supply curve to shift to the right? Okay, if we are given the aggregate supply curve, what will cause it to shift to the right? We will see. First option is an increase in the purchases by the federal government. Second is an increase in the rental interest rate. Third is a positive productivity shock. And fourth one is a decrease in the money supply. Actually, this third option is correct. A positive productivity shock will cause the aggregate supply shift to the right. How? Because aggregate supply curve shifts to the right as the productivity increases. If productivity increases, this will directly imply that input prices will decrease. Let us say labor efficiency increases. If labor efficiency increases, that means labor cost will decrease. Because of the decrease in the labor costs, aggregate supply will shift to the right. Okay, so the correct option is positive productivity shock. Similarly, if there is negative productivity shock, then the aggregate supply will shift to the left. This will be caused by the increase in the wage rate of the labor. So in this case, a positive productivity shock like increase in the labor efficiency will decrease the labor costs, which will shift the supply curve to the right. So the correct option to this question is a positive productivity shock. Next question is, suppose the demand for a commodity is perfectly inelastic. Currently 10 units is sold at price 5. After the decrease in supply, the price increases by 10%. The consumer expenses will, a part is increased by 10%, increase by more than 10%, increase by less than 10%, or may increase by any amount. So first of all, we are given, if this is our let us say we have quantity on the horizontal axis, price on vertical axis, our demand curve is inelastic, so price elasticity of demand is 0. It is perfectly inelastic. Now if price is 5, at price 5 we have 10 units. Now when price is 5, 10 units are purchased, then 10 5s are 50. 50 is the initial expenditure. Now after decrease in supply, the price increases by 10%. If initial price was 5, now the price is increased by 10%. Now 10% of 5 is 10% of 5 is equal to, that is 10 divided by 100 into 5. So this is 5 ones are 5 20s are, so 10 divided by 20, this is 0.5. So I will just rub this here. That means new price is 5.5. Okay, now new expenditure will be equal to 5.5 into 10, that is 55. The question says the consumer expenses will, we will see how much percent will it increase or decrease. Original expenses were 50, new expenditure is 55, the difference is 5, divided by original expenditure is 50 times 100, which is equal to 5 tens are 50 divided by 5, which is equal to 10. So the consumer expenses will increase by 10%. Okay, coming to the next question, which of the following statements is or true about liquidity trap? We have to see which statement. First, it says interest rate is too low. Yes, this is true, because liquidity is a situation where expansionary monetary policy, or we can say if the increase in the money supply is not able to increase the interest rate, and hence does not result in the economic growth or increase in output. So first, the interest rate is too low, money supply cannot affect output, that is also true. Aggregate supply is greater than aggregate demand. I don't know in what context it is saying. Since first two are true, that means the correct option is all of these. So in money, rather in liquidity trap, interest rate is too low, as we know. Also, increase in money supply will not be able to increase the interest rate, hence will not result in any economic growth or change in the economic growth or increase in the output. So I will go for this D part. Coming to the next question, What does the term net GDP mean while denoting nation's economy? Net GDP is equal to net GDP plus depreciation. Net GDP is equal to gross GDP minus depreciation. Net GDP is equal to gross GDP plus interest rate accounted value of capital, or net GDP is equal to gross GDP plus real GDP. The correct option is straightforward, that is net GDP is equal to gross GDP minus depreciation. So there is no explanation needed. Next question is, what is the correct formula for CPI? Current quantities valued at current prices divided by current quantities valued at base prices. Second option is base quantities valued at current prices divided by base quantities valued at base prices. So this is not true. Base quantities valued at current prices divided by base quantities valued at base prices. And D is base quantities valued at base prices divided by current quantities valued at base prices. So the first option is rather true, because CPI is calculated, that is current quantity, let us say Q1 P1 divided by Q1 P0, that is current quantities valued at current prices divided by current quantities valued at base prices. So the correct option is A. And CPI denotes for consumer price index, as we know. Coming to the next question. If utility function is given by u is equal to log of y, the marginal utility is given as x log of x1 by x, none of these. Since u is equal to log of y, marginal utility means change in total utility with 1 unit change in the consumption. So we will see that is the derivative of log of, it is here x. Okay, so it is here x. Now marginal utility is simply the first derivative of total utility. If this is the total utility, its derivative is given by du by dx. Now the derivative of log of x is equal to 1 by x. From the rules of differentiation, you can check my playlist and you will see the rules of differentiation used in economics. So it is not a hard cup of tea. You can also learn the differentiation. It's very easy. So I will repeat here. If we are given log of x, if y is equal to log of x, its derivative is given by dy by dx. That means 1 by x, the derivative of 1 by x is log of x, the derivative of log of x is 1 by x. Similarly, here we were given log of x, utility was given as log of x. Now du by dx is equal to simply the derivative of log of x is always equal to 1 by x. So the correct option would be this 1 by x. Next question is, which of the following is narrowest definition of money supply? That is, we are being told to explain the M1. Now it is first option is gold reserve, second is currency in circulation, third is currency in circulation plus demand deposits, and fourth one is demand deposits. The correct option to this is the C option, that is currency in circulation plus demand deposits is the narrowest definition of the money supply. Next question is, the derivative of 2x plus x cube is, first is x plus x square, second is 2 plus 3x square. C option is x plus 3x and D option is x plus 3x cube. So we will see what is the derivative of this. Let us say this is y is equal to 2x plus x cube. Now derivative of this will be dy by dx. The derivative of x is 1, so 2 into 1 is 2, plus the derivative of x cube is This 3 will become the coefficient, so this becomes 3 times x, and this exponent is subtracted by 1, 3 minus 1, so this will become 2 plus 3x square. So the correct option would be 2 plus 3x square, which is the B option. Actually, one of the most powerful function which we use in economics is called power function rule. That is, if we are given y is equal to x to the power n, then dy by dx means derivative of this function with respect to x is given by this n becomes coefficient. So I'm just trying to explain you. So this will become n times x to the power n minus 1. If you can understand this thing, then then it will be very easy for you to understand other stuff. If we are given 4, so I will not explain further here. I have made videos on the rules of differentiation. You can easily go there and check those rules. Next question is, the monetary base consists of A is currency in circulation, B is commercial bank reserves with central bank, C is currency in circulation plus demand deposits. Monetary monetary base is equal to currency in circulation plus the commercial bank reserves with central bank. So the correct option will be D, that is both A and B. Next question that was asked was, the function of government to undo demand shock is known as demand management policy, stabilization policy, growth promoting policy, both A and B. So the correct option is D, both A and B. Demand management policy and stabilization policies are used to undo any demand shock. Next question was, which of the following is not true about the Keynesian economies? First is, consumption is stable function of income. Yes, from the consumption function rule, this is true. Investment is function is volatile. Yes, we know. Investment is a function of rate of interest, so this is volatile. Monetary policy is effective in liquidity trap. No, this is not the proposition of the Keynesian economists. They say fiscal policy is effective in liquidity trap, not the monetary policy. So C option is not correct, and last one is government should use fiscal policy, which is true. So the C option is not true, that is monetary policy is ineffective rather in liquidity trap. Next question is, the record of countries' international transactions in a given period of time is known as current account, trade account, capital account, budget surplus. Actually, I'm not getting the question. The record of countries' international transactions in a given period of time, as I have read, it is called the balance of payment. But since no option is here of the balance of payment, I don't think any option is correct. I leave it to you. What you say, what is the right answer, I am not sure. But balance of payment is actually the record of countries' international transactions in a given period of time. Next question is, the US definition of exchange rate is dollar per rupee per dollar, both A and B, none of them. So it is here dollar per rupee, that is dollar per rupee. And we know exchange rate is simply how many units a currency can buy of another currency. So there is nothing to explain here. Next question is, if total cost is given as, that is TC is equal to 2y square minus 8y minus 4, the marginal cost is given by the derivative of the total cost with respect to y. dividing total cost by y, multiplying total cost first by price and then taking its derivative. D part is multiplying total cost by price and then dividing by y. So the correct option is taking derivative of total cost with respect to y. That is, if TC is equal to 2y square, we have minus 8y minus 4. It is we take the derivative, that is dTC, differentiating total cost with respect to y, dy. So this becomes 2 to the 4y minus 8 is the marginal cost. So we take the derivative of total cost function with respect to y. Next question is, if x square is equal to 81, then x is equal to, so it is straightforward. If x square is equal to 81, then we can write it as 81 can be written as 9 into 9, which is equal to 9 square. So x square is equal to 9 square. This square gets cancelled. We get x is equal to 9. So option B is correct. Next question is Lagrange's multiplier. The option is equals ratio of benefits to costs. Second is equals ratio of costs to benefits. C is equals marginal rate of substitution, and D has no intuitive meaning. I guess the correct option is the D one. Why? Because this Lagrange's multiplier is used to find the local maxima or minima subject to the equality constant. That is, if we are given maximize utility function, let us say xy, subject to the budget constraint, let us say 2x plus 3y is equal to 50. So this is here budget constraint. Then we use the Lagrange's multiplier in finding the optimal values. So it is used in finding local maxima, or we have to minimize the cost function. If we are given a cost function, let us say y square minus 2y subject to the production quota 2x plus y is equal to 36. In that case, we use the Lagrange's multiplier. So it has no relevance to any of the first three options. So the correct option is D. Next question is, the outward plugging of the production possibility curve shows. First is increasing marginal cost, B is decreasing marginal cost, C is the production is efficient, D is X, Y are perfect complement. The correct option to this question is first, that is increasing marginal costs, because PPC is given by this. If we have here capital, also here we have labor, let us say this concavity of this PPC is because of the increasing opportunity cost. That means we have to sacrifice more units of one output for one additional unit of other factor. Or I can say we have to sacrifice more factors for one additional increase in the factor. So there is increasing opportunity cost. Here it says the increasing marginal cost. This is, we were given assertion and reasoning. Assertion was, if A is any matrix given by, that is A is equal to this very matrix, then determinant of this very matrix is equal to 0, since all elements in the column second are 0. Since here are all elements 0 in the column second. And a reason was given is Laplace expansion permits evaluation of a determinant along any row or column. First of all, we will see what is the Laplace expansion of this very matrix. The determinant is 0. I will show you how it is 0. and whether it is done by the Laplace expansion method. So we will see. Now what does the Laplace expansion method is actually. So we will take this very example. We are given the matrix. Matrix A is given as this is 5 minus 1, 5 minus 1 and 1, and 0 0 0, and 3 2 1. This is our Laplace, this is our matrix. We have to find whether its determinant is 0 or not. Laplace expansion is a method of evaluating the determinants in terms of cofactors. That is, it simplifies the matters by permitting higher order determinants to be established in terms of lower order determinants. That is, now Laplace expansion of this very third order determinant can be written as, this is written as, the determinant is written as A is equal to, that is equal to A11 multiplying by the cofactor C11 plus, if we are going to evaluate a row first, then this formula is there, A12 multiplying by the cofactor C12 plus A13 multiplying by the cofactor C13. Now here A11 is the element and C11 is the cofactor. How is cofactor found? First of all, if this is the first element, that is A11, we mentally delete the row and the column in which it appears and take determinant of the remaining elements. That is, we are here with 5 multiplying it with by the cofactor 0 0 2 1 0 0 2 1 plus we have A12 is 0, so we write here 0, and mentally delete the row and the column, this very row and this very column, and take determinant of the remaining elements. Now remaining elements are 5 1 3, sorry, it is minus 1 1 2 1, minus 1 1 2 1. This is the method of Laplace expansion. Similarly, we can find the A13 element, which is 3, and take the determinant of remaining elements, which will form the cofactors. Now here we will see what we have to do. I will write again this very matrix. A is equal to 5 minus 1 1 0 0 0 and 3 2 1. Okay, and here this 5 is the A11 element, A11, this is A12, similarly this is A13, this is A21, this is A22, this is A33, A33, similarly this is A31, this is A32, A32, and this last is A32, A33. Now we can find the determinant of this very matrix by taking determinant along second column, that is by taking determinant along this very column, this second column. Then determinant is equal to, that is equal to A is equal to, here it is A11, A11 is our 0, and multiply it by the cofactor. Our cofactor will be, we will mentally delete the row and the column in which it appears and take determinant of remaining elements, that is minus 1 1, minus 1 1, and 2 and 1 2 1, plus we have this very A22, because we are evaluating along the columns, so we write this very element, that is A22 is here 0, and we multiply it with the corresponding cofactor. Here the cofactor will be, so I will change the color to make it clear. Since A22 we are evaluating at A22, we will delete the row and the column in which this very A22 appears and take determinant of remaining elements. The remaining elements are 5 3 1 and 1. So we are with 5, 1, 3 and 1. Plus we take the third element along the column, that is A32. Our A32 is also here 0. So we again we delete the row and the column in which the third element appears and take determinant of the remaining elements. Now deleting this very row and this very column, we are with this 5 minus 1, 5 minus 1, 5 minus 1, 3 and 2. So 3 and 2. We don't need to actually write this. We can see here 0 times this determinant is 0, plus 0 times this determinant is 0, plus 0 times this determinant is 0. So the determinant is equal to 0. So we can say, so coming to the question, question was, if A is any matrix given by this, its determinant is equal to 0. Yes, that's true. Reason was Laplace expansion permits evaluation of determinant along any row or any column. So we can use the Laplace expansion to find the determinant. So we take the column here. We take determinant along this very column, second column, and we see that since all the elements are 0, its determinant will be also 0. So I hope I make myself clear. I have actually made, or rather I will make a video on the Laplace expansion also. The question is, if the production function is given as q is equal to 5 into L to the power 2 by 3 times k to the power 1 by 3, then what is the value of marginal product of capital if 64 units of labor and 27 units of capital are used? So we will see how to solve this. First we will write q is equal to 5 times L to the power 2 by 3 and k to the power 1 by 3. Okay, this is our production function. So we have to find the marginal product of capital, that is MPK. MPK is simply, we will differentiate this very function with respect to capital. So this is equal to this 1 by 3 of k will become coefficient. So this will become 1 by 3 into 5. So this will become 5 into 1 by 3. L will remain same. L to the power 2 by 3 will remain same because we are differentiating with respect to capital. And k to the power, now 1 by 3 minus 1. So this exponent is subtracted by 1 by the power function rule. Okay. So this becomes 5 by 3 L to the power 2 by 3 k to the power minus 2 by 3, and we can write it as 5 by 3. We have L by k to the whole power 2 by 3, because this k to the power 2 by 3, when we transpose it to the denominator, so the exponent becomes positive. Okay, so the power becomes positive, and then since the powers are same, we can write it as L by k to the power 2 by 3 in this form. Now we will put the value of capital. So I will just rub here something. So I will rub this equation. Now we have 64 units of labor and 27 units of capital. So we will plug the values. So this will become 5 by 3. Now L is 64. So this is 64 divided by capital is 27. So we will write 27 to the power 2 by 3. Okay. Now this will become 5 by 3. So 64 can be written as 4 cube and 27 can be written as 3 cube. So this is 4 by 3 whole cube, and we have 2 by 3 also, 2 by 3. Now this 3 and 3 will get cancelled. We are with this 5, so I will write it here, 5 by 3. Now 4 4s are 16, so we are with this 4 square divided by 3 square. So this becomes 4 4s are 16. 16 into 5 is, so we get 5 into 16 divided by 3 3s are 9, 3s are 27. So we will get 16 into 5 is equal to 80 divided by 27. So the correct option would be third option, that is 80 divided by 27. Question is, suppose the total product of a firm is given by, that is TP is equal to L square minus L square plus 30L, where L is the number of labors. First part is derive the expression for average product of labor. Okay. First we have to derive the expression for the average product of labor. Our total product is given as, that is TP is equal to minus L square plus 30L. Okay. Then our average productivity of labor is simply the total product divided by L. Our total product is L square, minus L square plus 30L. So we will divide it by L. So our average product will become this L, and L gets cancelled with this, so we get here minus L. Similarly, when expanding, this L get cancelled with this L, so we will get here 30. So average product of labor is minus L plus 30. This is the part first. Coming to the next part, that is derive the expression for marginal product of labor. So first we write total product again. Total product is given as minus L square plus 30L. Now marginal product of labor is simply the derivative of this total product with respect to L, that is dTP divided by dL. So differentiating first this L square, the derivative of L square is 2L, so this will become minus 2L. This first term becomes minus 2L, plus the derivative of L is 1, so we get here 30. So marginal product of labor is equal to minus 2L plus 30. Okay, this is our marginal product of labor. So I will rub this. Now the third part tells us, rather asks us, does the total product depict increasing marginal returns for any level of labor? We have to see whether there is increasing marginal returns. So for that we will see, so I will rub this also. So our marginal product of labor which we got was minus 2L plus 30. We will try to see whether we are getting the increasing marginal products of labor or not. Now if L is equal to 1, if L is equal to 1, our MPL, that is marginal productivity of labor, will be, this is minus 2 times 1 plus 30. We get it here minus 2 plus 30, that is equal to 28. So for when L was 1, our marginal productivity of labor was 28. Similarly, when L is 2, when L is equal to 2, our marginal productivity will be, so this is our equation. In this we will put L is equal to 2, so this is minus 2 times 2 plus 30. So we can see 2 2s are 4, minus 4 plus 30 is equal to 26. We see when the number of L's increase, labors, our marginal productivity of labor decreases. So we can see here that total product marginal returns, that is the total product does not depict increasing marginal returns for any level of labor. We see the decreasing marginal products of labor. That is, when L was 1, our marginal product was 28. When L was 2, it is 26. Similarly, when L is equal to 3, it will be 20. So there is decreasing marginal product of labor. Next question is, the D part is, at what level of labor total product will be maximum? So we will see total product is maximum. Graphically, that means total product, if this is our total product curve, total product will be maximum when our marginal product will be equal to 0. So when our marginal productivity of labor is equal to 0, then our total product will be maximum. Okay, when will be marginal product of labor 0? So we will see. First, we have seen that marginal productivity of labor which we got, that was minus 2L plus 30. Now set it equal to 0. Marginal productivity of labor is equal to 0, implies minus 2L plus 30 is equal to 0. Solving for L, we will get this 30 becomes minus 30, and this 2 is divided, becomes denominator. So we get minus 30 divided by minus 2, we get 15. So our, or I will write here, L is equal to 15. That means total product will be maximum when marginal product is equal to 0. At when L is equal to 15, when the number of laborers is 15, our total product will be maximum, because when TP is maximum, then our marginal productivity of labor should be equal to 0. Given the empirical consumption function, that is C is equal to 100 plus 0.75y, where C is the consumption, Y is the income, and this 0.75 is the disposable income, and I is equal to 1000, that is investment is 1000. Calculate equilibrium level of income. What would be the consumption expenditure at equilibrium level of income? So we have to also calculate the consumption expenditure. As we know that total income or total expenditure is equal to consumption expenditure plus investment expenditure. Okay, here the consumption expenditure is given as, so we write the value of this, that is 100 plus 0.75 of Y plus the investment is given as 1000. So we will write the value of the investment also, that is 1000, which is equal to Y. Now what will we do? We will transpose this Y on the LHS, so this will become Y minus 0.75 Y is equal to, now 100 plus 1000, this 100 and this 1000, this comes out to be 1100, that is 1100. Now Y minus 0.75 Y is equal to 0.25 Y, which is equal to 1100, or we can write here Y is equal to 1100 divided by 0.25. Okay, now this 0.25 can be written as, that is 0.25 can be written as 25 divided by 100. Okay, so this 100 will become the denominator, this will become 1100 times 100 divided by 25. Now 25 ones are, 25 fours are, so we get 4 into 1100, that is 4400. That means our equilibrium level of income is, that is our equilibrium level of income is equal to 4400. Okay, now we have to find the consumption expenditure at equilibrium level of income. since the equilibrium level of income is 4400, we will find the expenditure. So I will rub this. Now our expenditure will be, since y is equal to c plus I, our y is 4400 is equal to c plus the value of I is 1000. Therefore c is equal to, we transpose this 1000 on LHS, so this will become 4400 minus 1000, which comes out to be 3400. So this is our consumption expenditure. This 3400 is our consumption expenditure, and equilibrium level of income was 4400. Question is, when a consumer is in equilibrium, marginal rate of substitution between x and y is 2.5. If the price of commodity y is 16, then what will be the price of commodity x? The options are 40, 6.4, 23.2 or 24. First of all, we know that consumer is in equilibrium. That is, consumer is equilibrium when slope of indifference curve is equal to slope of budget line. Okay, this is the condition for the consumer to be in equilibrium. Now, slope of indifference curve is simply the marginal rate of substitution between x, y. It should be equal to, now the slope of the budget line is simply the ratio of the prices, that is price of x divided by price of y. Okay, so we will use this very concept in solving the given question. Okay, our marginal rate of substitution between x and y is given as 2.5. okay, here it is given as 2.5. Also, price of x is given as, so we have to find the price of x, but price of y is given as 16. We have to find the price of x. Okay, now using the equilibrium condition, that is marginal rate of substitution between x and y is equal to the ratio of price, that is price of x divided by price of y. Our marginal rate of substitution is given as 2.5, so we can safely write here 2.5 is equal to, we have to find price of x, but the price of y is given as 16, so I will write as 16 here. Now when we solve this, what will we get? We will get price of x is equal to, this will become 2.5 into 16. Okay, that means 2.5 into 16 is equal to, so I'll just calculate this very expression. So this is 2.5 can be written as, so I will write here 25 divided by 10 into 16. When solving, this will become 5 5s are 25, 5 2s are 10, and 2 1s are 2, 2 8s are 16. We get 5 into 8, which is equal to 40. So price of x would be, when solving this, price of x should be equal to 40. Okay, so the correct option should be 40 here. Okay, now to give a further explanation to this question, okay, we know that consumer is in equilibrium. So consumer is in equilibrium where slope of indifference curve is equal to slope of budget line or price line, budget line. That means if we are given this very graph where this horizontal axis shows then units of good x, and vertical axis shows units of good y, then this means the consumer would be in equilibrium when, let us say, this is our budget line. This is our budget line. Budget line should be tangent to the indifference curve. Okay, that means this point should be the equilibrium point. Equilibrium point, because it is tangent. That means this budget line is tangent to this very indifference curve. So as we know that the equilibrium condition for a consumer is that the slope of the budget line should be equal to slope of indifference curve, and it is only possible when the budget line is tangent to the indifference curve. Also, we know that marginal rate of substitution, the definition of the marginal rate of substitution is simply the rate at which consumer is ready to exchange number of units of good X, for one more unit of good Y at the same level of utility. Okay, so I will repeat how we calculated the question, calculated the solution. Rather, we were given that marginal rate of substitution between X and Y was 2.5. Price of X we have to find, but price of Y was given as 16. So we used the equilibrium condition. Equilibrium condition was that marginal rate of substitution between X, Y should be equal to the ratio of the price of good X divided by price of good Y. So we use this very formula. Our marginal rate of substitution was 2.5 and price of X was to be found, but price of Y was given as 16. When solving, price of X was equal to this is 16 into 2.5, 16 into 2.5. When solving, this comes out to be 40. So the correct option was 40. The mean of the binomial distribution is given as 20 and its standard deviation is 4. The value of Q, that is the probability of failure of an event, is equal to, the options are 4 by 5, 3 by 5, 2 by 5 or 1 by 5. Okay, so first of all we are given the mean of the binomial distribution. Okay, and we know that mean of the binomial distribution, that is mean of binomial distribution, which is denoted by U, mu is equal to n into p, where p is the probability of success. So mean is given as 20, so I will write here 20. Okay, also the standard deviation is given as 4. By standard deviation we mean standard deviation of a binomial distribution is equal to the square root of n, that is number of repeated trials, times p, probability of success, times q, the probability of failure. Okay, so the standard deviation is also given as 4, so I will write here 4. When further solving this, we will transpose this square root on RHS, so our NPQ is equal to 4 square, which implies NPQ is equal to 4 4s are 16. So when transposing the square root on RHS, this becomes square, so 4 square is 16. Okay, so we have mean is equal to 20, that is n into p is equal to 20 and npq is equal to 16. Okay, so I will write here our np is equal to 20, that is mean is equal to 20, and npq is equal to 16. I will write here 16. So let this be equation first and let this be equation second. We divide equation first by equation second, so this is like this. Here np and np gets cancelled. We get here 1 divided by q is equal to 20 divided by 16. or reciprocating q is equal to 16 divided by 20, or we can get q is equal to 4 4s are 16, 4 5s are 20. That means 4 by 5 is the value of q, which is the probability of failure which we were supposed to find out. That means our option A, that is 4 by 5, is correct. That is the value of q, that is the probability of failure of an event, is equal to 4 by 5. The question is, geometric mean of 2 6x is equal to 6. What is the value of x? The options are 2, 18, 9 and 3. Okay. So first of all, a geometric mean is simply it is obtained by multiplying the all numbers together and taking nth root of the product. That is, if we are given numbers, let us say we are given numbers a, b, c and d. If we want to find the geometric mean of these numbers, then geometric mean is simply we multiply these numbers a into b into c into d and take their nth root. Here the number of terms are 1 2 3 4, so we take fourth root. Okay, this is the formula for calculating the geometric mean. Now coming to the question, we are given the numbers 2 6 and x. Okay, now their geometric mean is simply we multiply 2 into 6 into x and take their nth root. Here we have three observations, 1 2 3, so we take cube root here. Okay, so geometric mean of 2 6x is equal to the product of the three numbers and taking their cube root, so which in turn is equal to 6. The question tells us it is equal to 6, so we equate it with 6. Okay, now this is 2 6 are 12, so we can write it 12 into x cube root is equal to 6. Okay, or we can write as 12 into x is equal to, now this root on LHS will become power on the RHS, that is it will become 6 cube. Okay, so if we are given x nth root is equal to y, that means by simple transposing the power the root on the RHS, this becomes x is equal to y raised power n. This is the basic rule. Okay, now here we have 12 into x is equal to 6 cube, which means so I will rub this now, which means we are given 12 into 6 is equal to, now 6 cube is equal to 6 into 6 into 6, that is 6 6 are 36 into 6 is equal to 216, which implies, sorry, here we have this x, therefore x is equal to 216 divided by 12. Okay, now 216 divided by 12 is equal to, this is simply 6 2s are 12, here we have 6 3s are 18 and we have here 3, this becomes 36, then 6 6s are 36, now 2 1s are 2, 2 18s are 36. Okay, so we got x is equal to 18. I hope I make myself clear, so I will repeat. We were given the numbers 2 into 6 into x. Its geometric mean is simply we take the third root here, that is cube root, which is equal to 6. It says the geometric mean of 2 6 and x is equal to 6. When solving, this becomes 12 into x is equal to, transposing this on RHS, this becomes 6 cube. When solving again, this becomes x is equal to 6 into 6 into 6 is 216 divided by 3 divided by this 12. So when calculating this, we got the value of x is equal to 18. Okay, this is the geometric mean, and I have shown you how to calculate the geometric mean of the numbers. So if we have the numbers, let us say if we have 6 numbers, we have number 1 2 3 4 5 6, their geometric mean would be simply we multiply these 6 numbers 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 into 6 and take the sixth root. And the production function Q is equal to 150 L to the power 0.7 K to the power 0.5 exhibits returns to scale as the options are constant, increasing, decreasing, or fluctuating. So we will see what is the correct option. First of all, we are given the production function, so I will write Q is equal to 150 L to the power 0.7 and K to the power 0.5. Okay, here this Q is the total output. This 150 is the total factor productivity or state of technology. It shows the change in the output that is not the result of the main factors of production, that are labor and capital. Okay, here this L is the labor, K is the capital. Here we are interested in these two exponents to see whether the given production function has constant, increasing, or decreasing returns to scale. Okay, so this 0.5 we can also, sorry, 0.7 is, let us say this is alpha and this 0.5 is beta. Okay, so I will rub this. Let us say this alpha is equal to 0.7 and beta is equal to 0.5. Okay, if alpha plus beta, that is the sum of the exponents, is equal to 1, we have constant returns to scale. If alpha plus beta, that is sum of the exponents, is if it is greater than 1, so we have increasing returns to scale. Similarly, if alpha plus beta, that is the sum of the exponents, is less than 1, at that time we have decreasing returns to scale. Okay, so let us see what is our alpha. Our alpha is equal to 0.7, our beta is equal to 0.5. these are the exponents which we are talking about. Okay, here we can see alpha plus beta is equal to 0.7 plus 0.5, which is equal to 1.1, which is greater than 1. So we can safely say that the given production function exhibits increasing returns to scale. Returns to scale. Okay, so I will try to show you how actually it happens. Okay, let us take this very example. Let us say we have Q is equal to, so I will make sure to explain you. Let us say we have L is equal to 10 and that is capital is also equal to 10. So we will solve for this and see what is our result. Okay, if labor is 10, capital is 10, then our production function would look like this: 150 L to the power 0.7 times k is 10, also k to the power 0.5. When solving this on the calculator, we get Q is equal to 23.7, sorry, 2377.3. Okay, when our here in place of L we have 10, that is because we have assumed L is equal to 10. So when labor was 10, capital was 10, and other things were same, our output was 2377.3 units. Okay, let us double the labor and capital. Let us say we have new production function where we double the labor, so this is 150 will remain same, this 10 will become 20, so 150 times 20 to the power 0.7 times, and we also double the capital. Let us say this is 20 to the power 0.5. Okay, when solving this on the calculator, we will get Q is equal to 5462. Okay, I hope I am making myself clear. So when I will write when L was equal to 10, capital was equal to 10, and other things were same in this production function. Our Q was 2377.3. okay, so when we double the labor, that is when L was 20, so we doubled the labor, and K was also doubled, that is K is equal to 20. Our production function was 5462. okay, our production increased more than double. Here initially our production total output was 2377, and when the factors of input were doubled, our total output got more than doubled. We can see here 5462 is more than the double of 2377. okay, in this case we can safely say that the given production function exhibits the increasing returns to scale because uh, because um, because our alpha was 0.7, beta was 0.5, and alpha plus beta, that means 0.7 plus 0.5 was greater than 1. So I have shown you how actually it is done. And here one important thing I want to make clear to you, this the exponents have its own meaning, that is alpha. So I will write first this production function. Q is equal to 150, L to the power 0.7, and K to the power 0.5, sorry, 0.5. Now what does this 0.7 mean? Okay, this 0.7 means that if labor is increased by 1%, okay, our output Q will increase by 0.7%. okay, this 0.7 shows us output elasticity of labor, that is if labor increases by 1%, output will increase by 0.7%. Similarly, I will rub this. Similarly, our this 0.5 is the output elasticity of capital, that is if capital is increased, that is if capital is increased by 1%, okay, output will increase by 0.5%, okay, approximately it will increase by 0.5%. The question is, if in a distribution mean is 40, mode is 60, and standard deviation is 10, then the coefficient of skewness will be, we are given the options as -2, 2, -20, and 5. okay, now the formula for calculating the coefficient of skewness is very simple, that is coefficient of skewness can be calculated by, that is equal to mean minus mode divided by standard deviation. okay, our mean is given as 40, mode is given as 60, and standard deviation is also given as 10. okay, we have to just insert the values here. That means our mean is equal to 40, that is 40 minus mode is 60 divided by standard deviation, which is 10. okay, now when solving this will come out to be -20 divided by 10, which is equal to -2. So we got the coefficient of skewness is -2. Now what does this coefficient tell us? So we will see this coefficient of skewness is -2 tells us there are some conditions on the skewness, that is if the coefficient of skewness is equal to 0, we have a symmetrical distribution. Let us say this is a distribution which is symmetrical, where mean, mode, and median lie on same point. So in a symmetrical, we have mean is equal to median is equal to mode. Okay. Now if k is that is if k is greater than 0, okay, if k is that is if the coefficient of skewness we got greater than 0, then this tells us our distribution is positively skewed. So by positively, so I will try to make positively skewed distribution would like this, which has a right tail, which has a tail on right side. Okay, so in this case our mode will be highest. This is mode, median will lie in center, and mean will lie on this side. So this is a positively skewed distribution when the coefficient of skewness is greater than 0. Okay, in this case we have mode, median, and mean on this side, that is on the right side. Okay, now if we have, let us rub this out. If we get the value of skewness which is less than 0, which is the case in this numerical, that is we have k is equal to -2, the distribution would look like this. It would have a tail on the left side like this. Okay, in this case our mean would be, let us say this is mean, this is median, and this is mode. Okay, this is mean, this is mode, and the distribution would have the tail on the left side. We can see the tail is on this side, so we can say this is a negatively skewed distribution when the coefficient of skewness is less than 0. So I will repeat here. If k is equal to 0, we have symmetrical distribution like this. We have symmetrical distribution where mean, mode, and median lie on same point. Okay, if k is less than 0, that means in this case we have negatively skewed distribution. By negatively skewed distribution we mean that the tail is on left side, and we have mean, median, and mode on this side. Okay, if coefficient of skewness is greater than 0, that is positive, then in this case our distribution would look like this. It would have a tail on the right side, we can see here, and our mean would be this line, median, and mode, so they will lie on this side where the tail exists. I hope I make myself clear in this video. Thank you.